Have you ever wondered why no one talks about what really happens when you turn 80? Why everyone celebrates the milestone with cake and cards and smiles, but nobody, and I mean nobody, sits you down and prepares you for the emotional earthquake that follows. Think about it. When you turned 16, people warned you about driving responsibilities. When you got married, everyone had advice about relationships. When you became a parent, suddenly everyone was an expert on child rearing. But when you approach 80, silence. Just well-meaning congratulations, and then nothing. Nobody tells you about the morning you'll wake up and feel like a stranger in your own body. Nobody mentions how the phone will start ringing less and less until some days it doesn't ring at all. Nobody prepares you for the moment when you realize the world has started looking right through you, as if your 8 decades of wisdom suddenly don't matter anymore. If you're approaching 80 or already there, you've probably felt changes that go way deeper than physical aging. I'm talking about changes that affect your heart, your mind, and your very sense of belonging in this world. Maybe you've caught yourself wondering, is this normal? Am I the only one feeling this way? Why didn't someone warn me? Well, today, someone is warning you. Understanding these realities isn't about accepting defeat or giving up hope. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about walking into this chapter of your life with your eyes wide open instead of stumbling around in the dark. Today, we're uncovering 6 brutal realities that come with life after 80. The ones nobody warns you about, the ones that catch you off guard, the ones that can make you feel lost if you don't see them coming. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you feel the way you do, why these changes are happening, and most importantly, how to navigate these challenges with the dignity and strength you've carried for 8 decades. This isn't going to be easy to hear, but it's going to be real. And sometimes, real is exactly what we need. Comment, "I'm ready," if you're prepared to face these truths head on, and don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Healthcare for more honest conversations about aging. The kind of conversations nobody else is brave enough to have with you. Now let's talk about what really happens after 80. The first brutal reality we need to address is something that becomes your constant companion after 80, the mortality shadow that follows you everywhere you go. Now, I'm not talking about being morbid or obsessed with death. I'm talking about something much more subtle and much more real. After 80, death awareness becomes part of your daily life in ways it never was before. You wake up in the morning, and somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this quiet voice that whispers, "How many more mornings like this do I have?" You attend more funerals than birthday parties now. You read the obituaries not out of curiosity, but because you might actually know someone. Every small ache, every moment of dizziness, every time you forget where you put your keys, there's this little calculation happening in your brain. Is this normal aging, or is this the beginning of something more serious? This awareness changes how you make decisions. You don't plan 5-year vacations anymore. You might hesitate to buy a car that will last 10 years. You start thinking about what will happen to your things, your home, your memories. And that's not depression talking. That's reality knocking on your door every single day. Here's what most families get wrong about this. When you try to talk about these feelings, when you mention that you're thinking about mortality more often, they panic. They say things like, "Don't talk like that," or "You're being too negative," or "You have many years left." They think they're helping, but they're actually dismissing a completely natural psychological adaptation to aging. Because here's the truth. Acknowledging that your time is limited isn't giving up. It's waking up. When you stop pretending that death isn't coming someday, you start living more intentionally. Every conversation becomes more precious. Every sunset carries more weight. Every "I love you" means more because you understand how limited they truly are. The key is learning to make peace with this awareness instead of fighting it. Yes, time is finite. Yes, the end is closer than the beginning. But you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still capable of creating moments that matter. And that's not something to fear. That's something to honor. But mortality awareness isn't the only invisible burden you carry. The second brutal reality is that your body becomes an unpredictable stranger that stops asking your permission before making major decisions. After 80, your body doesn't just age. It starts operating on its own agenda. You go to bed feeling fine and wake up with your balance completely off. You've been walking the same hallway for 20 years, but suddenly your legs feel uncertain underneath you, like they're questioning every step. Your energy doesn't just fade gradually throughout the day. It vanishes without warning, leaving you exhausted after what used to be simple tasks. Here's what catches most people off guard. Recovery doesn't happen the way it used to. A minor fall that would have meant a few days of soreness at 60 now means weeks of careful movement at 80. A head cold that used to last 3 days now knocks you down for 2 weeks. Your body has stopped bouncing back. Instead, it adapts forward, and sometimes that adaptation means permanent changes you weren't prepared for. The unpredictability is what's truly exhausting. You can't trust your body to do what it's always done. You might feel strong in the morning and find yourself gripping the wall by afternoon. You plan to do something simple like grocery shopping, but your body decides it's not happening today. Most people make the mistake of trying to push through these limitations or pretending nothing has changed. They attempt the same activities at the same pace, and when their body rebels, they get frustrated, even angry. This approach only leads to dangerous situations and deeper disappointment. The wisdom lies in developing a partnership with your changing body instead of fighting it. Adapt your environment, install grab bars, use tools that make tasks easier, plan activities around your energy patterns. Adjust your expectations without lowering your standards. You're not giving up, you're being strategic. And while your body betrays you privately, society betrays you publicly. The third brutal reality is that society starts treating you like you're invisible, and this invisibility cuts deeper than any physical pain you'll experience. After 80, ageism becomes tangible in ways that will shock you. You walk into a store, and the young cashier looks right through you to help the person behind you. You go to your doctor's appointment, and they discuss your health with your adult child as if you've suddenly lost the ability to speak for yourself. You're sitting in a restaurant, and the server talks louder and slower, assuming age has made you simple. People start making decisions for you without asking. They speak over you in conversations. They dismiss your opinions with a patronizing smile, and that's nice, dear. Your decades of experience, your hard-earned wisdom, your sharp mind. None of it matters because they see wrinkles and gray hair and decide you're no longer relevant. The cruelest part is that inside, you feel exactly the same as you always have. Your thoughts are clear, your opinions are valid, your experiences are valuable. But the world has made up its mind about what you're capable of based purely on how you look. Here's where most people go wrong with this reality. They either accept this invisibility as inevitable. Well, I guess this is just how it is now. Or they become bitter and angry, which only reinforces society's stereotypes about cranky old people. Neither response serves you. The solution is to be strategic about demanding respect. Practice assertive communication. When someone talks over you, speak up and say, "Excuse me, I wasn't finished." When a service provider addresses your adult child instead of you, redirect the conversation. "I'm the one making this decision. Please speak directly to me." Insert yourself into conversations. Remind people of your competence when necessary. You don't have to be rude, but you don't have to be invisible either. Your voice still matters. Your experience still has value, and you have every right to demand the respect you've earned over 8 decades of living. But perhaps nothing cuts deeper than the shift from helper to helpee. The fourth brutal reality is the crushing weight of needing help, and the psychological impact of this dependency often exceeds the physical limitations that cause it. For most of your life, you've been the one others turn to. You raised children, cared for aging parents, supported friends through crises. Your identity was built around being capable, reliable, the person who could handle whatever life threw at you. After 80, that dynamic shifts, and it can feel like losing a core part of who you are. It starts small, asking someone to reach something on a high shelf, needing help carrying groceries, accepting a ride when night driving becomes too challenging. But each request chips away at the identity you've spent decades building. You lie awake at night wondering if you're becoming a burden. You decline invitations because you don't want to slow anyone down. You attempt things alone that you probably shouldn't because asking for help feels like admitting defeat. This creates an identity crisis that goes far deeper than the physical need for assistance. You're not just losing strength or mobility. You're losing your role as the helper, the provider, the one people depend on. And that psychological shift can be more devastating than any physical limitation. Here's what most people get wrong about this reality. They view help as weakness, as failure, as becoming a burden on others. But this perspective ignores a fundamental truth about human relationships. You've been part of an interdependent web your entire life. When you helped others, you weren't just giving. You were allowing them to receive love through service. The wisdom lies in reframing this experience. Receiving help isn't weakness. It's allowing others to love you the way you love them. When you gracefully accept assistance, you're giving someone else the opportunity to feel useful, needed, valued. Graceful acceptance is its own form of strength, requiring humility, trust, and the wisdom to know that true independence isn't about doing everything alone. Your worth was never tied to your physical capabilities. It was tied to your heart, your wisdom, your ability to love and be loved. And those things don't diminish with age, they deepen. And as you struggle with needing others, those others begin disappearing. The fifth brutal reality is that your social world shrinks to a whisper, and this isn't just ordinary loneliness. This is something much more systematic and devastating. After 80, you begin experiencing the systematic loss of your peer group. Friends pass away, leaving holes in your social fabric that took decades to weave and can never be replaced. Others move to assisted living facilities or relocate to be closer to their children. Some become too frail to maintain the friendships that once sustained you both. The phone rings less often. Invitations dwindle. Those easy, spontaneous connections that enriched your daily life start disappearing one by one. You're not just getting lonely, you're outliving your own generation. The people who shared your references, who understood your jokes without explanation, who remembered the same world you grew up in, they're fading away. You find yourself becoming an expert at eating dinner alone, watching television with no one to comment to, having thoughts and experiences with fewer and fewer people to share them with. The silence can be deafening. You might catch yourself talking to the television, or to your pet, or even to photographs of people who are no longer here, just to hear a voice in the house, even if it's your own. Most people make two critical mistakes with this reality. First, they wait for others to reach out instead of taking initiative. Second, they assume all meaningful social connections must come from their age group. Both approaches only deepen the isolation. The solution requires courage and flexibility. Build intergenerational relationships. Younger people can bring fresh energy while benefiting from your wisdom. Embrace technology for connection, even if it feels foreign at first. Join online communities. Video call family members. Explore social platforms designed for seniors. Create new communities based on current interests rather than shared history. A book club, a gardening group, a volunteer organization. These connections can be just as meaningful as lifelong friendships, sometimes more so because they're chosen rather than circumstantial. And in the silence of shrinking circles, old regrets grow louder. The sixth and perhaps most devastating brutal reality is that regret becomes a prison without bars, trapping you in a cycle of what-ifs and if-onlys that can consume your remaining years. After 80, time takes on a different quality. The future feels shorter while the past looms larger, and in that shift, you have more time to think, to remember, to replay every decision you made and every opportunity you let slip away. Extended reflection time can transform normal regret into overwhelming rumination that creates emotional paralysis. Maybe it's the career path you didn't take, the relationship you let slip away because pride got in the way, the words you said in anger that you can never take back. Maybe it's the dreams you abandoned for practical reasons, the chances you were too afraid to take, or the years you spent focused on things that didn't matter while neglecting what did. The cruelest part of regret after 80 is the feeling that it's too late to fix anything. You can't go back and be a better parent, a more attentive spouse, a braver person. You can't recover the years you spent in the wrong job or the decades you let pass without telling someone you love them. That sense of too late can create a paralysis that robs you of whatever time you have left. Here's the mistake most people make with regret. They treat it as permanent punishment rather than valuable information. They believe they're sentenced to carry this weight forever because they can't change the past. But that perspective keeps you locked in a prison of your own making. The truth is, regret can become your teacher instead of your tormentor. Transform it into wisdom you can share with others who are making similar mistakes. Make amends where possible. It's never too late to reach out, to apologize, to try to heal old wounds. And for the regrets that truly can't be fixed, focus on how your remaining time can honor rather than mourn past mistakes. Your past doesn't define your future, not even at 80. Every day you wake up is another chance to choose who you want to be, how you want to love, and what kind of legacy you want to leave. These realities are heavy, but acknowledging them is the first step toward transcending them. If you're feeling overwhelmed by what we've just discussed, that's completely normal. If some of these descriptions hit so close to home that you felt uncomfortable, that's not weakness, that's recognition. Seeing these patterns in your own life can feel like looking into a mirror you weren't prepared for. Maybe you're sitting there right now thinking about the friends you've lost, the help you've been too proud to ask for, or the regrets that keep you awake at 3 a.m. Maybe you're remembering the last time someone talked over you, or the morning you woke up and your body felt like a stranger's. These feelings are valid, and they're shared by millions of people who have crossed the threshold into their 80s. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Awareness is power. When you understand why you feel invisible, why your body surprises you, why relationships feel harder, why mortality feels so present, you can stop blaming yourself and start strategizing. You can stop wondering if you're losing your mind and start preparing for what's coming next. These aren't personal failures or character flaws. These are predictable challenges that come with reaching an age most people never see. And predictable means you can prepare for them. So look at your life right now. Which of these 6 realities resonates most strongly with you? That's where you start making changes. Not dramatic overhauls that exhaust you, but small, intentional shifts that honor where you are while preparing you for what's ahead. You've survived 80 years of challenges, changes, and surprises. You've weathered losses that would have broken younger versions of yourself. You've adapted to changes you never saw coming. These 6 realities don't diminish your strength. They're simply the next chapter in a story that's still being written, and you're still holding the pen. You've survived 80 years of challenges, changes, and surprises. These 6 realities don't diminish your strength. They're simply the next chapter in a story that's still being written, and you're still holding the pen. Let's quickly recap what we've covered today. We've talked about 6 brutal realities that come with life after 80. The mortality shadow that follows you everywhere, your body becoming an unpredictable stranger, society treating you like you're invisible, the crushing weight of needing help, your social world shrinking to a whisper, and regret becoming a prison without bars. Each one of these realities is real, but none of them has to define you or control your remaining years. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these realities hit closest to home? Was there one that made you nod your head and think, finally, someone understands? Are there other challenges you're facing after 80 that we didn't discuss today? Your experiences could help someone else watching this feel less alone, less confused, less afraid. So please, share your thoughts in the comments below. If this honest conversation helped you feel seen and understood, if it gave you clarity about what you're experiencing, please subscribe to Elderly Healthcare. We believe in having the real conversations about aging that nobody else wants to have. The conversations that matter, the ones that prepare you instead of just placating you. Remember, these realities don't make you weak, they make you human. And there's incredible strength in facing life with eyes wide open, with understanding instead of confusion, with preparation instead of surprise. Thank you for having the courage to face these truths with me today. I'll see you in the next video.